Hey, what's up, guys? It's Gio here and John.
What up?
Bringing you the final match of the Evilswarm versus Prophecy duel, and let's get along with it.
So this time, Suarez is gonna go first. Finally.
Yeah. So we see him here open up the standard play, summoning Spellbook Magician, searching out.
Well, it's gonna get Valor, Geo.
Well, Valor's gonna be pretty devastating. Well, depends what he has in his hand. You know, there's lots of ways out. But for the first play, he can't attack. He can't really do anything. So,
I
I'd
mean, that
say
magician's just sitting out there.
yeah, it's just there.
Against Evilswarm, I thought, he'd be pretty good if he had Compose, return it to the hand, or Book of Moon or something. Well, he's just gonna end, leave it out there.
Yeah, just end his turn. There's not much he can do.
And let's see if Ernie can make an Ophion and protect it, have a pretty good play.
I think both players strategizing.
So he's gonna do a lure first.
Goes ahead and removes the Heliotrope.
Does he? Oh, yeah, he does. And let's see what he plays. And he's gonna summon Banisher, which is actually really good, Gio.
Yeah,
And he plays Deck Lockdown.
yeah, both those cards are devastating to the deck. Deck Lockdown, especially considering that all that Prophecy do is search and add from their hand. And Banisher won't allow them to set up their graveyard, so Masters will probably be dead in hand. Fate will be dead in the hand.
He draws one card, and it is
It's
the Heavy Storm.
The only the card that could possibly get him out of there, considering that I don't think he's running Mysticals, right? I haven't seen.
I mean, out of the three decks, what are Evilswarm, Dragons, and Prophecy? I mean, all of them are pretty much cut MST like to none.
Yeah.
So I really doubt he's gonna use Judgment. If
Yeah.
it hadn't been bad enough, Gio.
Yeah.
So Ernie's kind of in a bad spot right now.
But we see there the Banisher doing work, removing all the Spellbook cards.
That's pretty good. If he wasn't gonna add a bunch more to his hand.
Well, like I said, he can't set up the graveyard, so he's very limited to the plays he can make. I said, Fate.
That Heavy Storm, Gio. That Heavy Storm wins games.
Yes, it does.
Well,
We'll see if it will win it this one.
that heavy. What can I say?
So we see him here, just contemplating his plays. He has a lot of thinking to do, considering, like I said, can't set up the graveyard. So he just goes activates Wisdom, adding the 2 count to its Judgment.
I mean, Banisher's still a problem. He's gonna still have to try to do something to get rid of it.
Yeah, but at this point he has to, he has to make up for cards he needs. He has to add cards. So what I would have done is just activate, Book of Power. Just run it over. Well, he can't. Can he?
I don't know. Power adds 1,000, and how much is that? 400, right?
It's a 500 thing. So yeah, he can't run it over.
Really run it over
Yeah.
unless he has like Judgment. I mean, Spellbook of Masters and Power.
But like I said, the Masters is dead. There's no Spellbook in the graveyard.
Banisher putting in work.
Putting in a lot of work. So you see him here adding the card for
Judgment. Just gonna end like that. I mean, that is pretty good, and he's gonna go ahead and
summon the Justice of Prophecy, activating its effect right away off the bat. So adding another Judgment and the Priestess. So now he has a
that's gonna be able to get over it.
Yeah, so he has a setup play for next round. He clearly see he has more than enough spellbooks to activate Priestess effect to special summon himself.
So let's see what Ernie can do.
So we see Ernie up Thunderbird.
Alright, there's a good monster to get in this kind of situation. Not the best, but does something. I mean, lets him have field presence.
So he attacks for 16 directly.
And sets his last 2 back row. At least he can't get heavied again, Gio.
Yep. So there's no fear in setting that back row anymore. So here we go. He reveals 3 spellbooks. Summons the Priestess. He activates the Judgment, which, it's going to help him set up for next turn.
So, I mean, right now he is completely set up because he got that one spellbook that protects his monster, so he's not afraid to attack anything. The one that powers up, Spellbook of Power.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's just sitting pretty.
Yeah.
And then next turn, he's gonna do it all over again.
So now he's gonna have to figure out what to get rid of, whether or not he's gonna activate the Priest's Effect, Destroy. Since there's nothing in his graveyard to remove, he's gonna have to be forced to remove from his hand, and he removes the Masters, which is pretty much dead at this point since there's no graveyard for him to set up with. So he goes ahead and destroys the Banisher, allowing him to finally set up his graveyard. So he goes for the Secrets.
And Ernie's gonna solemn that. And a lot of you might think, why didn't he just solemn the Priestess? Because you can't, Gio. A lot of people don't know that, but you can't.
So easy. I mean, he had a second Spellbook of the Masters, which with one card in its graveyard, finally he could activate the Secrets, which Ernie just wasted half his life points negating, which was futile.
So he's gonna get the one that
Fate.
Yeah, that one.
He gets Fate to his hand.
So I really don't see what Ernie could have at this point.
Because then he has no hand, one back row, and with Wisdom in his hand, it's and you notice how he didn't activate Thunderbird's effect yet, and considering he just gave up a big chunk of his life points, he's gonna need that Thunderbird to reduce the blow to his life points there.
So he's gonna go ahead and attack and see what Ernie could do.
Yeah, he's debating whether or not to, whether or not he's gonna activate his back row, considering he knows he has the Wisdom in his hand.
And he's gonna go ahead and die. So at this point, I would say Ernie's down to top decking.
Yeah, and even then, like, what really can he top deck? He's down to one card on the field and one card in his hand when he draws, and there's not much that a player can do, considering knowing your opponent has that many cards set up, knowing he has the Fate
But he said
and the Wisdom.
Oh, he said two.
So,
that's kind of rare that you see Spellbook set cards.
but the Wisdom, So he goes ahead and sets up and activates one, gets one for Judgment, special summons no monsters.
So he draws and he gets a monster, so he's able to set. But it's just gonna get blown up anyways.
So he activates Tower's effect.
And
Goes ahead and removes, destroys a monster. Spellbook of Power, and that will call it game.
Well, I would say that Heavy pretty much won the game.
Yeah, the Heavy had a big influence in that game, but any player would have figured out a way around it. It deadlocked down in the last 2 turns. That's how long it took him to set up his play. So one could argue that it just sped up the process.
Alright guys, well that's it for this match, and we'll see you again next week for the final match of that tournament.
All right, later guys.